Good evening, friends. How are you all doing? Today we're going to have our live, because it's Tuesday night, discussing the most interesting immigration news. And of course, I'm going to be sharing with you tips with regard to the United States immigration laws, practices, what's happening. From the title of today's live, you see that we're going to be discussing mostly deportation and recent deportation practices. I'm going to be sharing with you the most recent relevant news. And of course, in the end, please ask your questions. I will be answering your questions live. So type up your questions in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Alina Shaltsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York. Using my social media channels, I share live updates, immigration tips, immigration news, and answer your questions for free. And of course, I am a practicing attorney, so if you do need to have a confidential consultation, please reach out to my office, 917-885-2261, or book your appointment online using my website, shaltsova.com. This is in case if you need to speak with me about something confidentially, which of course I always advise you to do, not to reveal any private information online. Make sure that you understand that we have public communication here, and perhaps not everything that you would like to share should be shared publicly. Just keep that in mind. We do have some interesting things to discuss today. And of course, I'm going to be reminding you as to how you guys can protect yourself at these times in the United States, right? Trying times, difficult times. So why don't we start with our updates? First of all, I wanted to let you know again, remind you that United States authorities changed the way they approach immigrants and approach immigration cases. These days, you can be detained if you're called for a check-in with ICE during your routine check-in procedure with ICE. You can be detained at USCIS interview. Here are I'm going to show you some news clips proving that not only me, other attorneys do share this information as well. And knowing that you can be detained, you have to prepare for this situation if it occurs. Remember, if you already have an order of removal against you, order of deportation, you should be ready with the motion to stay your removal proceedings or application for administrative stay of removal, depending on your situation. You also may be able to file a motion to reopen, depending on your situation. Always bring a lawyer with you if you can afford one when you go to check-ins, when you go for those USCIS interviews. It's important. It's been reported that USCIS officers now must report to ICE when they encounter a case where a person has final order of removal. And through that reporting, ICE will be alerted that you're coming for the interview if you're called for the interview. That's how they will know that they have to get ready for you, okay? Why would you file something with USCIS if you have an order of removal against you? Well, because sometimes if USCIS, instead of calling ICE, does adjudicate your case, you will become a permanent resident. That's why. And some other times, you just do not know that you have an order of removal against you because you either didn't order copies of your files from USCIS, or the search that was done for you did not reveal that order of removal. That's why. Okay, that's why somebody who has order of removal would show up at USCIS interview appointment. Also, what's happening currently is that we're seeing a very difficult situation where we have about 4 million cases, almost 4 million cases in immigration courts. And at the same time, we received news that Trump administration is firing immigration judges. Immigration judges are not the only people being fired, by the way. They fire other government workers those who, for example, work in consulates and embassies. Why are they doing it? Well, allegedly it is done against people who do not support Trump's administration general view of immigration and general policies. That's why. That's how the news outlets are explaining that. So you do need to be ready for the fact that you may face certain delays in courts. You also have to be ready for the fact that it's interesting how it works. If you do not tell the court that you moved and you would like to keep a better jurisdiction for your case, currently I've seen tons of motions to change venue filed by the government where a person doesn't file the motion themselves, or where the person doesn't alert the government that they moved to a different jurisdiction. So what happens with those cases is that you will face huge delays as a result of your failure to alert the court and the government that you moved to a different state. And you may lose your individual or master hearing date in court. And this way, you may lose your case completely. So we have complete mess in immigration courts right now, where everything is stacked against you. You must abide by the rules to the T to make sure that you have your hearing on time and it's not going to be canceled the last minute due to your mistakes, that your asylum clock for your work permit is not going to be stopped due to your mistakes and delays, okay? And that you're actually going to have a chance of winning your case in court rather than being ordered deported. One last thing I wanted to talk to you about the court is the fact that you have to understand that in the current climate, and climate where judges probably will be thinking that they may be fired next, right? They will abide as strictly as possible by the EOIR policies, which are not favoring any delays to help you out to find a new lawyer, not favoring any delays related to your inability, lack of knowledge, or delays in updating your address or filing your applications, right? And your inability or lack of preparation in presentation of your evidence. I'm talking about the situations where you come to court and you realize that you should have asked for a letter or two to support your case. And now you're in a situation when there is a final hearing happening, but you didn't ask those letters to be submitted and you didn't submit them on time. And now you want the court to give you more time to submit extra evidence. You're not going to get it. You have to understand that. And by the way, the deadline to provide evidence to court changed again. If during Biden administration it was 15 days prior to your final hearing, now the default is 30 days. It's a default. It means this is the deadline that will be used unless an immigration judge orders some other deadline. So, new deportation rules call for excellent preparation. You have to self-educate yourself with regard to how you need to present your case in court and deadlines. You have to abide by all the rules in terms of notifying the court about moving and changing your address. And one final thing, if you do decide to leave the United States for whatever reason, some people leave due to health reasons, some people leave because they're just tired of waiting, make sure you do it correctly and ask the court for voluntary departure rather than leaving and learning afterwards that you have an order of removal against you in absentia, causing you not to be able to file for anything for at least 5 years since your departure, in addition to the regular 10-year bar, which is imposed on those who have order of removal. Okay. And I have on my channel, YouTube channel, excellent videos explaining various defenses to deportation that are out there. Excellent videos explaining how to present your evidence in court, specifically with regard to asylum cases, who can and who cannot adjust status in the United States. So, guys, there is no excuse for you not to watch it, not to educate yourself, and at least have a little understanding as to what must be done in court, right? Not to earn that order of removal against you during this absolutely trying times when the cards are stacked against you, right? And not in your favor. And now, guys, if you have questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Let's see what's going on. Hi, guys from TikTok. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you very much for your hearts. We have about 1,500 hearts, and I haven't even started answering your questions. And if you guys are watching me on YouTube and Facebook, please send your stars and share the stream. So, hi, Whispers, thank you very much for your encouraging words. Hi, Veronica. How are you doing? I have a T visa pending and a final deportation order too. I just went to my check-in with ICE in January and have to come back in July. How are they dealing with the T visa applicants? Veronica, you are in a better situation than many people because you do have this application for relief as a humanitarian, we call it humanitarian application. Typically speaking, they would allow you to remain in the United States waiting for the resolution on the T visa. Thank you very much, Nassim, for the rose. But I would advise you to prepare, if you haven't done so, application for administrative stay of removal, all right? You're going to attach a copy of your T visa receipt or T visa application, whatever you want to attach. You do have to have a valid passport, by the way, to submit that application, but that for sure, if granted, will save you from being physically deported. Interestingly enough, there is a memo, not in connection with the T visa specifically, but in connection with the U visa, where at the time when memo was written, it says that U visa pending is a developing area of the law. And we're going to deal with cases like yours, Veronica, as we basically learning how to approach this area of the law. Why this memo is important? Because it was written in 2017 or 18 during the first Trump's administration, and that memo has been currently reinstated. Okay, I'm not aware of any new memos with regard to U visa, T visa, things pending, but I'm aware of that memo, and that's what that memo says. It says that they will be dealing with people like you on a case-by-case basis. They no longer must give you time. Typically, they will, but prepare yourself well and make sure that you file that application for stay of removal and take an attorney next time you go there, just in case. Why? Because you also have to keep one thing in mind. Currently, despite of what they're saying on TV, they do have quotas or certain expectations as to how many people they have to arrest. I've seen reports that people are being arrested in barbershops, at their workplaces, basically anywhere where ICE agents may find them to arrest them, to meet probably these expectations. They don't call them quotas, but they call them expectations. It's the same thing. Just keep that in mind, okay? All right. Hi, Diego. Is Florida airports asking for immigration status for domestic flights? I'm not aware of that yet. I do not know. I'm not aware of that. I'm not going to lie. If you guys who are watching me on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook have any information with that regard, please let me know. But I'm not aware of that personally. Hi, Joel from Illinois. All right. Hi, Mr. Singh from India. Yay. Hi. Hate it. That's the nickname. I have a question. A charge that was closed for false information and traffic level 18 years ago will affect a VAWA self-petition asking for a friend? No. A closed charge that was dismissed should not be affecting your VAWA or your friend's VAWA petition. Typically speaking, for VAWA cases, they look at your good moral character 3 years preceding your VAWA application. Did you work with a judge, Lily Sue, Santa Ana, California? I believe so. Yes, we did have a case. I don't remember anything negative. So usually if there was something horrible happening with a judge, then you would remember it. But if nothing super tough happened, you just don't have any specific recollection. All right. Hi, fan. What's the time frame between the master hearing at court and the individual hearing? It strictly depends on the judge and the court. Currently, some judges, most judges, I would say, I wouldn't say most, how can I even say that? But hear me out. If you received your notice to appear recently and you had to move the court, change venue, most likely your next master is going to be only in 2027, your master in 2027. Individuals a month ago were scheduled to 2028, a month ago. Now I do not know, but it depends on the judge. All right, some judges, if they have an opening, they will schedule you faster. Hi, Lana. Do you know how fast people getting asylum interviews now if they apply for it recently? We came here on a tourist visa and applied for asylum, or will apply for asylum soon. Lana, I don't have any specific reports as to be able to tell you that 100% of people who recently filed for asylum are being called fast. I do anticipate that number to increase. You do have to prepare, as I advise all people who consult with me, that you may be called for asylum interview within 60 days of filing for that asylum. It means that your case must be prepared very well. You must attach your story and strong country conditions reports. All right, but you need to be prepared that you may be called for the interview within the first 60 days. And if you're not, consider yourself lucky, or maybe not lucky. But remember, they also reinstated memo saying that, generally speaking, asylum must be resolved within 180 days. So that will be their goal, okay? Now, my friends from TikTok, thank you very much for your hearts. I'm sorry for the wait. Let me answer some of your questions. How long can I stay outside of the United States with a green card? Get yourself a re-entry permit if you are asking that question. If you planning on staying for longer than 3 months, if there is a chance of you staying for longer than 6 months, get yourself a re-entry permit. Don't risk it. Typically, if you stay outside of the United States once, close to 6 months, but no more than 6 months, you shouldn't be having any issues. If you stay out of the United States 4 months, 5 months, come back to the United States and stay here for only a month, couple of weeks, 2 months. If you're staying here less than you're staying out of here, you will face problem, even if your stay was for less than 6 months at a time. Just keep that in mind, okay? Get yourself re-entry permit. All right. Let's see. Thank you very much, Let Life, for your gift. Hi, Mazin. I have a refugee status from United Nations High Commission on Refugees. Will that help my asylum case? Will it help your asylum case? If you got that status, you were supposed to enter the United States as a refugee. Thank you, guys. So if you enter the United States somehow else, what happened? I'm not sure if it's going to help you or hurt you, to be honest. All right. But if you enter the United States pursuant to the duly issued authorization prior to the ban that was issued on refugees, you should be fine. All right. Should I submit my wife's ITIN with my taxes? If you guys are married and you have to file jointly, you will have to use your wife's tax ID rather than social, yes. Wilco, I'm 2-year green card holder. My husband is deceased. I'm sorry to hear that. Can I change my condition now or do I have to wait? You can file to remove your condition now. Waiver-based filing forms I-751, they do not have to be filed within 90 days of the second anniversary of your green card. You can file those waiver-based I-751s at any time. This is the rule. Hi, Salim. I'm doing well, thank you. Hi, Lead Design. It's almost 2 months since I filed my adjustment of status. I never received any notice. Let me ask you this. Did they cash your checks? If they cashed your checks, then you're fine. There are reports that the notices are being delayed. So you're not the only person who never received the notice. Notices are being delayed, but if they cashed your checks, you should be fine. Okay. All right. Let me see if we have YouTube questions. Yes, Phila, you may ask your question. Hi, the Duke. My fiance, US citizen, 55. She's a lady. I'm a man and 43. We plan to finalize our union of marriage legally. Is the age difference an issue or red flag? Our marriage will be real. Hi, Duke. Yes, big age difference is a red flag, but it doesn't mean that your application will be automatically denied. Okay. Will they be suspicious? Maybe. But if you have real relationship and strong evidence that you guys do live together, you have nothing to worry about. You may be called for the interview, but again, if you live together, it's basically a formality. I wouldn't worry much about that. Worry about preparing for your interview well, if you will have one. Hopefully, you won't even have an interview if you get strong evidence of real marriage. I actually have tons of videos on YouTube about that. Joint tax returns, utility bills, bank statements, social media posts, photos, affidavits from friends and family. So you should be fine. Hi, Saida. My husband is in jail. Attorney reopen a removal. What happens if they deport him? So there is a motion to reopen his deportation order is pending and he's detained. Is that what it is? Well, the lawyer usually should have filed a motion for stay as well, staying the physical deportation up until the motion is decided. Do you know if that was filed? If it was filed, what's the fate of it? Was it granted or rejected? Is it possible that the person is physically deported while a motion for something is pending? Yes, it's possible. Will it be the right thing to do? I do not know. It depends on the circumstances. I do know that if you are dealing with federal courts, some federal judges are really not going to allow that physical deportation to happen if you have a compelling case. Okay. Hi, Ume. I shifted to USA last year in August on a green card, but still didn't receive the green card. Do you mean that you came to the United States and you were supposed to receive the green card, but you didn't get it? It was never mailed to you, and you paid the green card fee? That's what it is? Well, typically, it's easy to resolve that. You call USCIS customer service, and you're going to make an appointment with USCIS local field office, and they will resolve that for you. Occasionally, it happens. Okay. Hi, Christian. Got my case for VAWA in February 12, 2024. Around how long I have to wait for my work permit? Oh, did you file for the work permit? Because filing for VAWA, Petition I-360, is going to get your work permit only when VAWA is approved. And that takes about 2.5 years if it's approved. If you file the entire adjustment package, you should have received the work permit already if you filed your case in February of 2024, because that comes in about 4 to 6 months after filing. Okay. Hi, Christopher. I'm in Florida. Can I visit South Africa with just passport up to 90 days? I have no idea. I really do not know. I'm not practicing immigration law of South Africa. I wish I could help you with that. Hi, Gulf Coast. How long does it take to change your visa to a green card? What makes you think that you change your visa to a green card? There are visas that cannot be changed to green card. For example, C1D, if you entered on the C1D visa, if you entered on K1 visa and didn't marry your petitioner, you will not be able to do that. It also depends on how you're getting that green card, if you can adjust, right? For example, if it's based on employment petition and it's EB2, EB3 petition and you have to do perm, it's going to take about 3 years before you can file for the green card. If you marry the US citizen, this is the fastest way to receive a green card, provided the marriage is real. That is going to take you only 8 to 11 months. Okay. Hi, Laken. Is it safe to travel overseas with I-751 based on K1? 4 months to be eligible to apply for Form N400. If you have automatically extended conditional green card, you should be fine, right? You should be fine. Because if you have I-751, it means if you filed I-751, it means you have a green card, conditional green card. Your K1 status doesn't matter anymore, right? Hi, Dawn, came with a F1, but never went to school. Can I get adjustment of status with my US citizen kid petition? Well, your kid has to be 21, first of all. You stated that you never went to school. Why? What was the reason for never going to school? This is a very dangerous situation, and I speak about this all the time. If you came on an F1 visa, you stated to the United States government the purpose of your visit was being a student, yet you didn't cross the border of that school. You never went to school. They may think you committed fraud, unless you're going to have a compelling explanation as to what on earth happened between you receiving that student visa and not going to school on the school start date. They may charge you with immigration fraud. Just keep that in mind, okay? It doesn't mean that if they do charge you with immigration fraud, you won't be able to file for the waiver, but a child, a minor or adult child, is not a qualifying relative for that waiver. Keep that in mind, okay? Let me see what other questions we have. I have asylum and advanced parole. Can I travel outside of the United States on advanced parole? How did you receive your advanced parole? I don't know. But if you did receive advanced parole, it means something else is pending, or you received it due to asylum pending. Then sure, you can travel as long as you're not in court. On the other hand, if you were in court, you wouldn't be receiving advanced parole. So my guess would be, based on limited information that I have, that you should be fine, okay? But consult with an attorney just in case. Hi, Joel, I have a question. I married a US citizen 7 years ago, and I came here without status. Is it safe to file for adjustment of status? I don't think you can file for adjustment of status if you don't have parole or inspection and admission, and don't qualify for 245I exception or parole in place. You probably will have to choose I-601A route instead, okay? Adjustment of status is for a select group of people. I have a video on YouTube explaining who can get a green card in the United States and who cannot, even if they're married to a US citizen, all right? Marriage to a US citizen gives you grounds for that immigrant visa, but whether or not you can use it for a green card in the United States is determined by the manner of your entry to the United States and whether or not there is bars of inadmissibility may be applied against you, right? Visa is just like basis, and then you have this pyramid on top. So the pyramid on top is your eligibility for the green card. All right. How long will administrative processing last after an interview? Hi, Sabrina. Unfortunately, there is no time limit as to how long the U.S. consul may look into your eligibility for that visa that you filed. It may be only a couple of days. It may be a couple of years. What I recommend people to do is to sit down with an attorney and see where is that weak spot, why your case was selected for administrative processing. Inaccurate information, previous visa revocations, criminal charges, something else, previous denials, and then you try to address that issue to the best of your abilities, okay? Hi, Pilot AKG. I have asylum and advanced parole. Okay, based on TPS. You have TPS as well, right? Yes, you should be fine. If a motion for credible fear is rejected, is there anything we can do? A motion for credible fear? You mean interview, right? And then your interview didn't result in positive findings. What can you do? I do not know what process you're in. If it's a regular process, you can ask the judge for the determination to be reviewed by the judge, the negative determination. If the judge stated that they still don't find any basis for the person to proceed with asylum, you cannot appeal that. There is no appeal for that. I guess you're trying to help somebody who is in detention. That's what it is. You let me know, okay? Hi, Old Wolf 07. I'm in the process of removal. Then I did the marriage. It's been 2 years and 1 year for I-130. Guys, excuse me. If you are in removal proceedings and you married somebody and you can adjust if the government approves that I-130, that's great. But it does take a long time for the government to get to your I-130. It may take years, literally 2 years, sometimes even more, before they're going to resolve that I-130. You need to be prepared for that. All right? What you can do is, if you are in a hurry, you may ask your attorney to follow up with a government lawyer on the case. So they would ask USCIS to expedite that I-130. Now you have to hear me out. New memos by Trump administration state that ICE is no longer going to ask USCIS to expedite the forms. But what if you're lucky, right? And that prosecutor is going to listen to you, especially if your case has been pending for a couple of years. It doesn't hurt to ask, I think. All right. My daughter is a U.S. citizen. Father has no status. Father meet daughter after 22. Can she apply for father? Unlikely. If he wasn't the father listed on the birth certificate, and you guys were not married during the daughter's birth, and he wasn't supporting her prior to her 18th birthday, I don't think that USCIS is going to recognize that a parent-child relationship was formed. All right, that's how it works. My green card renewal is pending. Can I apply for citizenship? You may be able to if you qualify for citizenship otherwise. And if this is the case, you file for your citizenship and you will be called for the interview. And during that interview, your green card application will be decided. The removal of condition will be decided first, and then your N400 will be decided. That's how it works. Well, guys, let me take one last question for today. It's kind of late, unfortunately. Let me see. Can chat see my question? Hi, Justice Equity. I'm not sure. Let's see. We do have a lot of questions. Oh, here. Laken Raleigh Act and DACA recipients with 3 or less misdemeanor criminal records still renew, even if applicant have no new crimes since last renewal, or will USCIS now deny and deport applicants? Well, Laken Raleigh Act is a new law. And you believe that you may be subject to that, right? But you do have DACA status. I will be honest with you, I do not know what's going to happen. Why? Typically, a new law should not be retroactive, okay? At the same time, we have this conflicting information from ICE as to how they're going to be implementing this Lake and Raleigh Act. I think, unfortunately, what's going to happen is this. If the government sees that you have the record, you filed to renew the DACA, USCIS reports to ICE, look, this person who resides here and there may be subject to Lake and Raleigh Act, subject to mandatory detention. What you will need to do is to fight application of the Lake and Raleigh Act against you because it's retroactive. And I think it's going to be decided by the courts. They will have to look at the intent of the lawmakers when they were passing the law. What is the intent for people with existing criminal convictions? What is the intent for them to happen? I didn't have the answer. And all the practice authorities that I read so far don't really answer this question yet. So I just do not know. I guess at this time, anyone who has criminal records should worry about that. The better question is, why don't you try to address the criminal record and attack the convictions? See if you can file motions to reopen, pardons in certain situations. Sometimes it does help to clean up your criminal records so that they don't really have grounds to charge you with anything based on that. It's not easy to do, and it's not going to work for every case, but it's possible. I've seen this happening in cases with some very heavy criminal charges related to I don't want to say these words because YouTube's going to block my video. But it was crimes against children, all right? People pled guilty at a young age. They didn't have good representation. They were scared. They didn't know what they were doing. Years later, they were able to reverse those convictions and save themselves from deportation, all right? But they did have good criminal defense attorneys working for them years later. Thank you very much, Saltine, for the roses. Now I have to find your question to answer it. Hi, my friend came under humanitarian parole. Her status is set to expire soon. How can she stay legally? That's a tough situation, NX. See if they can qualify either for TPS, depending on what country they're from and eligibility, or for asylum, perhaps, okay? If they cannot come up with anything else, right? Now, guys, on YouTube, I kind of feel so guilty. There are so many good questions. Hi, Justin Kaler. If a 212H waiver was approved for a crime and you were issued a green card, can you apply for citizenship? You asked me that question the last time, and I answered it, saying that yes, you can. You will be able to file for citizenship if the problem conviction was subject to the waiver. Just make sure that the waiver did mention that situation. It's very important. If the mistake was done in the waiver, it's going to be a whole different situation, but hopefully everything was correct. All right. All right. Let me see if we have more questions on YouTube. Let me see. All right, my friend came under humanitarian parole. Yes, I answered that one. Sometimes on TikTok, I have like same question popping up like 10 times. I don't know why. Is it you guys doing it or was it TikTok that's doing it? I have no idea why it's working this way. Hattery category 4 SIG. Why this month go backwards? My priority date November 2022. How long I have to wait? I do not know if it did retrogress, but occasionally categories will retrogress. It happens for every priority, every preference category. Once in a while, the case that was supposed to be current or was current, the priority date is going to roll back. Nothing you can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. It means you'll have to be patient. All right. You'll have to wait. How long? I do not know. I think nobody truly knows. Only the people who like punch these numbers in. Some people make these predictions. Sometimes the predictions are accurate, sometimes not. Because again, it depends on how fast the government is processing cases. And we just do not know. It's the truth. Nobody knows. Only the person who is punching these numbers into this bulletin official announcement knows. And sometimes they are mistaken. If they were not mistaken, the dates would not retrogress. Okay? That's how it works. All right. Hey, I get a date 2027 final for asylum. If I want before, I can or not. All right, Sam, I think your question is, can you speed up your date in court? You can ask for it, but they're not going to go with it. They're not going to give you the sooner date. You have to understand that when they face, I think, 3.7 million cases officially, sometimes they say 4 million cases. Now we're in 2025. You date in about 2 years from now. They're not going to do this for you. For them, it's like normal timeline. This 2 years. If your date was in 2020, if your date was in 2030, you would have a shot of speeding up your case. In 2027, they will not. Right now, it's a normal timeline for them. It's not too far, all right? And just make sure you keep the date. As I said at the beginning, your address has to be accurate, must be updated. Make sure you prepare your case for the trial very well. Don't ask for any adjournments last minute. They're not going to give them to you. Okay? Very rarely they will. Mostly not. Prepare well. Just, have copies of your files. Start working on your case. You have 2 years to win your case. But there is one thing that you cannot control in court cases, especially if it's an asylum case. It's country conditions. This is totally out of your control. What to do? You have to have a country conditions expert. You must. You must. Some of those experts charge only $1,500. Some of them charge $7,500. I'm telling you right now, you must have one. No matter what your case is, it doesn't matter. You must have country conditions expert. Find one. Start saving money for them because that's something that is winning the cases. All right, good advice, good lawyer also. But country conditions expert, you have to have one. All right, guys, I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. I really, really tried. It's been a long day today. I will be back hopefully Friday night. So please sign up for my channels, stay in touch, say hello, join my other social media, YouTube, Facebook. All day long, I publish different updates, give you tips. So don't be a stranger. And I hope to see you guys soon.